Hi, this is English 9A Credit 3, Lesson 4, the comparative text. So the following article focuses on the idea of love and how it can be interpreted by different people. As you read the article, consider Romeo and Juliet and identify comparisons between the two texts. So the article is What is Love? 5 Theories on the Greatest Emotion of All. It is the most popular search on Google, but what's the answer? Experts in fields from science to fiction share their thoughts. So, what are the 5 theories of love? Brainstorm below what you know about different types of love. So, the first one they give you is love as friendship. And so you're going to come up with 4 other theories of what love is. Okay? When you're done with that, you can move on. There is no right or wrong answer. This is just your opinion on what theories of love you think are out there. So I'm going to read the article. What is love was the most searched phrase in Google in 2012. According to the company, in an attempt to get to the bottom of the question once and for all, The Guardian has gathered writers from fields of science, psychotherapy, literature, religion, and philosophy to give their definition of the much pondered word. So this one is from the physicist. Love is chemistry. Biologically, love is powerful neurological condition like hunger or thirst, only more permanent. We talk about love being blind or unconditional in the sense that we have no control over it. But then that is not so surprising since love is basically chemistry. While lust is a temporary passionate sexual desire involving the increased release of chemicals such as testosterone or estrogen, in true love or attachment and bonding, the brain can release a whole set of chemicals: pheromones, dopamine, norepinephrine, serotonin, oxytocin, and vasopressin. However, from an evolutionary perspective, love can be viewed as a survival tool, a mechanism we have evolved to promote long-term relationships, mutual defense, and parental support of children to promote feelings of safety and security. So I helped you out with number 1. The question is, how is love portrayed in Romeo and Juliet, similar to chemistry as described above? Use evidence from the text to support your answer. So I started it out for you. I put, in Romeo and Juliet, love is similar to chemistry because, and then you give your reason, and then you can provide a quote or add a quote to that answer. And once you're done with that, you can move on to the next part of the article. So the next one is the psychotherapist. Love has many guises. Unlike us, the ancients did not lump all the various emotions that we label love under one word. They had several variations, including philia, which they saw as a deep but usually non-sexual intimacy between close friends and family members, or as a deep bond forged by soldiers as they fought alongside each other in battle. Ludus describes a more playful affection found in fooling around or flirting. Pragma is the mature love that develops over a long period of time between long-term couples and involves actively practicing goodwill, commitment, compromise, and understanding. Agape is more generalized love. It's not about exclusivity, but about love for all humanity. Philatia is self-love, which isn't as selfish as it sounds. As Aristotle discovered, and as any psychotherapist will tell you, in order to care for others, you need to be able to care for yourself. Last and probably least, even though it causes the most trouble, is Eros, is about sexual passion and desire. Unless it morphs into philia or pragma, Eros will burn itself out. Love is all the above, but it is possibly unrealistic to expect to experience all 6 types with only one person. That is why family and community are important. So number 2 is, how does the love portrayed in Romeo and Juliet have many guises as described above? Use evidence from the text to support your answer. So there are all different types of love. So again, how does Romeo and Juliet connect to that? That love has many guises, okay? So give your answer and give your evidence from the text, and once you're done with that, you can move on to the next question. Okay, the philosopher. Love is a passionate commitment. The answer remains elusive in part because love is not one thing. Love is, for parents, partners, children, country, neighbor, God, and so on, have different qualities. Each has its variants: blind, one-sided, tragic, steadfast, fickle, reciprocated, misguided, unconditional. At best, however, all love is a kind of passionate commitment that we nurture and develop, even though it usually arrives in our lives unbidden. That's why it is more than just a powerful feeling. Without commitment, it's mere infatuation. Without passion, it's mere dedication. Without nurturing, even the best can wither and die. So number 3, how is love portrayed in Romeo and Juliet as passionate commitment, as described above? Use evidence from the text to support your answer. So this one, there is evidence in the text. All of them have evidence, but this one, we talked about how Romeo is passionate, and so talk about how it's a passionate commitment. What part of the story does he talk about his commitment to Juliet and Juliet's commitment to him? Okay, when you're done with that, you can move on. The romantic novelist. Love drives all great stories. What is love depends on where you are in relation to it. Secure in it, it can feel as mundane and necessary as ere you exist within it, almost unnoticing. Deprived of it, it can feel like an obsession, all-consuming, a physical pain. Love is the driver for all great stories, not just romantic love, but the love of a parent for child, for family, for country. It is the point before consummation of it that fascinates. What separates you from love, the obstacles that stand in its way. It's usually all those points that love is everything. Number 4, how is love portrayed in Romeo and Juliet a driver of a great story, as described above? Use evidence to support your answer. Again, this is something we talked about earlier, how this story is retold over and over because of the tragedy of their impossible love and how it ends in death. So go back, find your evidence to answer this question, and when you're done, you can move on. This is the perspective of the nun. Love is free yet binds us. Love is more easily experienced and defined as a theological virtue by which we love God above all things and our neighbors as ourselves for his sake. It seems remote until we encounter it in flesh, so to say, in life of another, in acts of kindness, generosity, and self-sacrifice. Love is one thing that can never hurt anyone, although it may cost dearly. The paradox of love is it is supremely free, yet attaches us with bonds stronger than death. It cannot be bought or sold. There is nothing it cannot face. The love is life's greatest blessing. So number 5, how is love portrayed in Romeo and Juliet? Similar to great blessing as described above. Use evidence to support your answer. Remember, think of it from Romeo and Juliet's perspective. They, they think it's a blessing, even though their families don't, or would kill for them to be together if they were together. Okay, so give your evidence from the text, and then the question at the bottom: based on the 5 theories in this article, which do you feel that relates to Romeo and Juliet? So this is your opinion. Please write complete sentences and talk about which one of those theories you feel best relates to Romeo